Hello and welcome to No Load Time, episode 47. My name is Obed Velez, and with me is the most interesting man in the world, Joel Young.
Yo, what's up, Nolo Time? Good to be back with you. Obed, I think I'm finally starting to cool off from all the Avengers viewings that I've had, but I've got the itch, so I'm probably going to go back and see it again. Man, the movie's good.
Yeah, it's good. I can't wait to see it again. I can't wait to come out for it to come out on Blu-ray. I think it's probably just going to be pretty soon. Judging by how Black Panther it's dropping next week. So
I know.
yeah.
Our review last week was a lot of fun, so if you guys didn't see that episode, it was really, really big.
Yeah, definitely spoiler warning, spoiler heavy. So if you guys don't want to get spoiled on the movie, just listen to it at your own risk. Joe, we're just going to go ahead and make the quick announcement about our E3 plans again. So on Thursday, June 7th, that episode is going to be our E3 predictions. I know that there's already a bunch of leaks out there, a bunch of stuff coming out. We are going to talk about some of that today, but remember to tune in on June 7th for that episode. And then on June 11th, that's that following Monday at 8 p.m., we will come to you guys live on our YouTube channel. So we will have a live stream with our thoughts and reactions from the weekend. And we will do a live reaction of the Sony press conference on that Monday, assuming it is on Monday, because there's things changing. Square Enix announced their press conference for same day at 1 p.m. Eastern time on that same Monday. EA is going to do their event on Saturday the 9th. And we all know that Microsoft and Bethesda are going to be doing their presentations on Sunday the 10th. So we're going to try and give you guys or some quick reactions on what happened, because on that, then following Thursday the 14th, we are going to come in and do our full recap. So stay tuned, guys. Don't miss it. I'm really excited, Joel. I'm really excited for the live stream, man. I can't wait for that.
It's gonna be a special experience because usually it's like when we do these podcasts, we have time to kind of think and digest. You're gonna get in this situation instant reactions from us, and it's gonna be news to you. It's gonna be news to us. So it's kind of fun to kind of hang out with us and see our reactions, and maybe you guys can shoot us some emails and whatnot, and we'll talk about further in the episode that's going to come following, right? Because we'll do another recap after that live episode. But a lot of cool stuff going on with E3, and it's an exciting time, man.
Yeah, we'll leave the chat open if you guys tune in by any chance, and if you want to just go ahead and contribute and tell us if we suck or not in the chat. We'll leave it open to you guys. Just keep it civil. I can take it. I'm a big boy, so don't worry about me. But yeah, guys, I'm really excited for that, Joel. Can't wait for Monday the 11th. It's going to be a great show. And definitely you guys should tune in. I get really passionate, Joel, on the 11th, especially watching the Sony conference. I usually get very, very passionate. So, I mean, take it as you may.
Oh, but it's going to get hyped.
Yeah. But we're just gonna go ahead and jump into some news. Just a quick bit of news that, Joel, we didn't talk about before Avengers was released, and we didn't talk about it last week. But Joel, what's your what do you think? What do you think of James Cameron? I like the guy. I respect his work. Right. I know that he's opinionated. He has every right to do so. To be opinionated. He's got the chops, right? He's proven time after time that he is up there in the upper echelon of creators, up with Lucas and Spielberg and all these guys. So he made some comments, and that's not necessarily negative, but he is wishing that there is what he's calling an Avengers fatigue, which I'm translating into a superhero or Marvel fatigue. What do you think of these comments, Joe?
I think I have a lot of thoughts about this, Obed. When you sent this over to me, you said let's talk about this, Joel. Like we haven't addressed this. I mean, this he's come up in the news a few times for making comments about the superhero genre, and he has said that he wants superhero fatigue. And now he's quoted in this documentary about saying that he wants Avengers fatigue. And I know when Wonder Woman came out, he was a big critic of Wonder Woman in the sense that he was like, well, this movie is not as impactful. Some people are trying to say it is, and he was, very much saying that this character is not the first strong female character, and it's not as strong as Sarah Connor. A lot of comparisons, and the same thing you hear even with this statement that he makes about the Avengers. He starts comparing, these movies and to his movies, especially Avatar, and he starts comparing to The Godfather. I just, the thoughts that I have towards James Cameron is that, like you said, Obed, I respect him as a creator because he is very talented. I recognize how much knowledge he has and how skilled he is at what he does. I mean, Titanic is a one of those movies that whatever you think of it, at the end of the day, you understand, it's a huge movie, and it's a very interesting and fascinating movie. And Avatar, of course, a world record kind of film, right? And he's known for making these kinds of movies that are successful or interesting. Terminator. I mean, there's a lot of different stuff that this guy's been involved in, stuff I'm not even listening, right? But with that being said, is just because somebody is good at their craft doesn't mean we start hailing them as a god and everything that they say is right. And I think that's what needs to be understood with the statements that James Cameron's making here. I think he's completely wrong. I think he is completely out of touch. Obed is the wording I would say with the movie going audiences, and I think that his criticism is just simply unfair, simply because he's looking at a perspective of these movies are all the same, and they're simply not. These movies are not all the same. Guardians of the Galaxy is not Iron Man, and Iron Man is not The Dark Knight.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
And each of these movies come out different times, but there's a lot of different flavors that they're making. Some appeal more to others, and that's what makes it so impactful when you watch a movie like Infinity War, because people who love Black Panther will watch this movie, and they care no licks about Doctor Strange, but somebody who's maybe a big Thor fan because nothing at all about, Captain America is still watching these movies. Marvel has given us flavors, and I think that's why they've kept the superhero genre so strong. And I think that's why even other competitors, you're talking about Warner Bros. And DC and Fox, what they were doing. Obviously, we'll get to that also in a little bit. But X-Men and whatnot. Like I think they need in this day and age with what Marvel's done this last decade, 10 years of films, they need them to be successful, and they have been successful. But there's a powerful statement that you said to me, Obed, when we talked about this, and I want you to bring this up about talking about how it's like how it doesn't get old. If you could elaborate on this, it was really strong what you said.
Yeah. So here's the problem, right? We can get fatigued with the DC movies. Like if we would be getting the DC movies over and over again with the hit and miss or the X-Men movies, because the X-Men movies at one point did get fatigued.
Absolutely.
Like after the third movie, when Wolverine Origins or X-Men Origins Wolverine came out, that you felt the fatigue.
Massive momentum stop.
Yeah, the franchise you were getting fatigued on that. And again, just going back, James Cameron, man, the first Terminator movie, it's one of my personal favorite movies ever. Definitely in my top 10. It's fantastic. I absolutely love that movie. So I really respect James Cameron as creator. What I told you is that it's really hard to get fatigued when the product's so good. So it's really hard. It's really hard to get tired.
Exactly.
It's like it's like pizza, right?
Yeah.
It's like you're not gonna, if you have good pizza, you can have good pizza every week and not get tired of it.
Exactly, Obed.
So, and that's the same thing with the Marvel movies, right? Marvel has been very, very consistent with their movies, and it's hard to get fatigued on them. We've seen franchise fatigue from X-Men. We've definitely seen it with DC EU. But when it comes to Marvel, I thought we were going to get fatigued when they released that, schedule. I thought that by Age of Ultron, we were gonna be like, here we go again, and more Marvel movies. No, and they just kept hit after hit after hit. Actually, like when I thought the Marvel movies we were gonna get fatigued, they got better. Like after Age of Ultron, we got Guardians of the Galaxy, we got Ant-Man, Civil War. Man, it's like it even got better. So, I mean, I can see where he's coming from, but at the same time, like you said, it definitely shows a disconnect. It shows that he has very little knowledge of this product. And I think that if he sits down and watches the entirety of the MCU right now, I think he will be pleasantly surprised with and impressed with how they have been able to keep this universe, as cohesive as they have, and at the end of the day, how high quality this product is. So,
and but I was just gonna say, like these, I think another recipe for success for the way these movies are is that they're fun. Like these are we live in, not to get like into the world that we live in, but there's some crazy stuff that goes on, and you go to the movies and you watch these movies and you just have a fun time. It's an escape. It's still being delivered in a fun way. There's a lot of movies that people classify as fun and they're just kind of ridiculous. I could talk about certain franchises that are just built on explosions and nothing more. But these movies are legitimately, you said it, Obed, but these movies are actually genuinely fun. And I remember we had a conversation one time where you were telling me about, like, I guess like this guy that was on YouTube or something, where like he showed like his grandmother or something for like the first time, whatever, like the first Avengers movie or something. And she was so happy. She was like, this is the best movie ever. Like she was just having, and it's like, this is an old, I don't know how old this lady
she was pretty old. She was up there. Yeah. She was probably in her 80s. Yeah.
And she's having fun watching these movies and it's bringing a smile to their face. That's what these movies do. So like you're saying, the product, it's like I think it's like it's being out of touch, not understanding like these movies are. It's not just about they're good, they're fun movies, they're an escape, they're with what's going on in the world. James Cameron just needs to chill out and not make these comparisons on the record. He's entitled to having his opinion. I think everyone is entitled to their opinion. I'm a big believer in that kind of, that you can have your opinions and your thoughts and those kinds of things. But as for me, Obed, that's my thoughts towards James Cameron and what he said. Great creator, out of touch with these statements.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see how Avatar 2, 3, 4, and 5. How many are there?
Gosh, there's like 6 of them or some crazy thing.
Yeah, they're making like 4 of them at the same time, or some ridiculous
one's
thing
underwater. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, talk about fatigue right there. I mean, nobody asked for Avatar 2. I mean, talk about not striking while the iron's hot. It's 10 years later. Holy crap.
Savage Obed's back.
Hey, you know what? As E3 gets closer, it's gonna happen. It's gonna keep happening. This is gonna last another about month and a half, probably.
Get ready, guys. Strap in.
Yeah. But it's, you know what? He's entitled to his opinion, and like I said, he is a great creator. I respect his work. A little bit out of touch, but I still like the guy. Joe, just moving on real quick. Talk about not having to celebrate, and you have been very, very cautious about this, and I think I'm going to share my opinions, but Comcast is still trying to block the Disney acquisition of 21st Century Fox. They came in with a cash offer on this past Monday, and nothing else. I haven't heard any updates, so I don't think this is not necessarily going anywhere, but probably not even a thing. But what do you think of what could happen out of this, Joel?
Obed, what's transpiring here is just simply Comcast trying to stop Disney from becoming a monopoly. So when we talked about earlier in the year, or it was earlier this year that we talked about this, where the deal officially was being said to happen, that hey, Disney 21st Century Fox Disney were going to have this, Disney's going to have the acquisition of 21st Century Fox, and that they were looking to, get all the IPs, including obviously Avatar and including, the Marvel characters that are not a part of Marvel Studios because they were under Fox. And I remember saying this to you, Obed, like, this deal is not, I've said it on the podcast a few times, like, this deal doesn't go through until the end of this year. That's why we won't see any of these characters or anything to do with these characters until next year or maybe even the year after, because they may just go into production with things next year, right? So I remember, like, I've been on the record, Obed. You can watch last episodes, you know this. Like, every time people were like, oh my gosh, like, I'm telling you, Marvel's trying to factor in the X-Men, they're trying to do all this stuff. I was like, chill out. This deal's not even done yet. Like, it's not, when I say it's done, like, it's a gentleman's handshake, but the government, there's a lot of different legal, documents and different things that have to be drafted to make this a smooth acquisition. Disney is a very reputable, very strong business. They're going to make sure they get, I can imagine how many attorneys. I would hate to be an attorney working on this right now. This is probably like a ridiculous amount of stuff that they have to work on.
Yeah, talk about pressure, man.
It's crazy, right? You can't have any loopholes in here. But, like, with that being the case, if it's just a gentleman's handshake, what stops anyone else from trying to come in and say, like, we're not going to let Disney do this. They're just going to take over the world, that kind of monopoly mindset. So, yeah, Comcast is really just trying to do anything that they can to slow it down or just to dissolve it as much as they can. I don't think that they're targeting the Marvel characters, so I don't have any issues with, I don't think there's going to be anything that's going to hold that up at all. I believe from what I've been reading and understanding from Forbes and these other financial investigative, type of journalism, is really just understanding that they're trying to see how they can affect Disney from a streaming service platform, because they know the future of just what we're going to be having of media is going to be streaming.
Yeah,
it's not going
to be mostly digital in the next. I mean, it's I would dare to say it's already there. But
I'd
in
say
the next
3 years.
Yeah, but in the next, I'd say in the next 3 to 5 years, it's going to be even bigger. Yeah.
Drastic changes. So they understand any reasonable or technological person can look at the future and say, this is what it is. So I think that as a business, they're saying, like, the future is streaming. And if Disney gets all these assets from now, when that future becomes a reality, they're going to have so much under their belt. With this deal, they would basically own Hulu. They would have the majority of Hulu, which when you're the majority owner, you're basically the owner of the whole thing, right? Like, the other guys don't really have a say at the table. Yeah. And they basically probably do that just to shut it down, to merge it with their Disney thing or whatever. I don't know what fully, but whatever Disney's doing, they're just smart because they understand the streaming media. So when I look at this Comcast breakdown, it's really, I think they're just trying to go after some properties or streaming rights or what have you. And if anything comes out of this, I can see that Comcast maybe changes the Disney deal where they get certain things that Fox says, yeah, we're going to sell this part to you and sell this part to Disney, which wouldn't be a good move just because I believe Disney can and would retaliate against Comcast. We'll get to that in a second. But, I think that definitely Disney is confident that this is not going to change anything. In fact, Bob Iger went on the record to, I want to say, I forget which financial journalist we went to, but he basically came out, actually did address this situation personally, and said that Disney is confident that the deal that they agreed to will stand, and so that's when Bob Iger comes out saying, like, hey, it's not going to change. That's a pretty big deal. So he's very confident about this, and if that's the case, then it probably will continue. But this doesn't surprise me, but I told you this deal was not done yet. I told you that they weren't doing anything yet with the Marvel Fox stuff. We just all need to take a chill pill. Let's wait till the end of this year and see how this develops.
Yeah, it's definitely something that this guy is working on, this deal, like you mentioned. Talk about pressure, man. This has to be on, just to be it's unimaginable. But going into what you said is there may be a split Possibly. I mean, there could definitely be, hey, listen, Disney, I know that you won this because they own, a good fourth of the Marvel characters for movie rights and whatnot, and maybe so. I see Disney definitely getting the Marvel out of this, of whatever the outcome is, because I don't think that Comcast will want to just keep the back and forth between Disney and Fox, and trying to get this characters to these properties to be able to keep doing stuff with them. I think that that's for me done and done is that in and of course Disney will get full rights of the original Star Wars trilogy, including whatever other pieces of Star Wars media Fox produced that were not part of the necessarily part of the Lucasfilm deal. The only other part of the deal that I see coming over is Avatar, because of James Cameron already being involved with Disney in theme park stuff and some distribution stuff, I believe. So that I could see, right? Whatever happens to the rest of the properties, who knows? I mean, that's going to be up in the air. But yeah, going back to what you said, this is all about streaming. This is all about Comcast wanting to be able to compete against Disney when this deal's done in a streaming um, platform, because their platform, the for sure Comcast is already building some sort of streaming platform. I know that they already have some stuff out there, but Universal has a lot of content. I mean, they've had over 100 years of content that they can put out there on a streaming service. Same with Disney, right? Close to 100 years of content that they can start putting up on a streaming service. But at the same time, you need these properties. You need properties that appeal, that bring money, that bring people, for you to be to have a competitive platform, which is, we've seen it with Netflix. Netflix, they do have a partnership with Disney right now. Who knows what that's going to be after all this happens? But at the end of the day, that's what it is, right? We're gearing up for the streaming wars.
And what I think what's interesting right now is, like, if for some reason Comcast was to get in the way of Disney's plans and really do something that could affect Disney, that would make them very whatever their goal that Disney was trying to get with these assets. You had mentioned this to me, but like, it would be a dumb move because Disney can easily retaliate, and they can easily say, like, guess what? All of our Disney Channel and whatever, it's not going to be on Comcast, and just pull it. They can easily do that. I'm not saying they would, but I'm saying they could easily do that if they get salty and say, like, hey, look, you took this from us, we're going to take this from you. So I think there will be a lot of background negotiating even between the three of these companies. I'm sure Disney's going to start talking to Comcast and be like, hold on a second, what do you guys want? What's really going on here? But at the end of the day, having these streaming platforms, if that's what the war is really on, then you understand that each of these guys know that they're going to have their own platforms, and that's whoever has the most on their platform is going to make the most money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a good thing at the end of the day, whatever happens. Yeah, like you mentioned, Disney could easily say, hey, so you soured the deal for us. We're going to take away the Disney Channel properties. We're going to take away ESPN,
ABC,
and we'll block like the NBA finals or something, from your broadcast. They could. So, what's more important to Comcast? Having people happy, or having all these properties that they can add to a streaming service. But it's like I've always said, when we talk about consoles, right, and gaming, competition sparks innovation. So I would say, Joel, in 2020, like we're gearing up for the streaming wars, and once all these platforms are set and they start really competing against each other, that's when that's where we're gonna see it. That's where we're gonna see maybe prices go down, better content, which I can only imagine what the content's going to be, because content right now is like I can't keep up.
I know.
Yeah, like there's so many things to watch. Like TV is the best it's ever been, and I barely watch TV.
And you have your home theater set up now. It basically as if you're in a movie theater. You have the sound quality in your house and whatever. Like, it's the future.
Yeah, you have nice TVs, good, video quality, good sound. It's man. So I can't wait to see what comes out of all this. I know that Netflix is gearing up for it. That's why their prices have gone up. They're putting money in the bank, because I think they're getting ready to make. They're foreseeing what's coming, and they're playing it very, very smart and safe, and they're getting ready to what's to come, and hopefully Netflix can even acquire some properties, because I know that they're really trying to reach out to the nerd community and the geek community. They're bringing on a lot of exclusive anime. They're bringing gaming documentaries. They're bringing a lot of stuff, gaming related, like the Castlevania series and all these stuff that they're doing. So I think that Netflix they have it down,
and they're making a lot of original content, almost like HBO style on their own. So it's really impressive.
Yeah, we're talking about but Stranger Things. That's probably the most successful TV show right now.
But even movies, they're getting like Hollywood directors to make movies. Bright, directed by David Ayer, and like they're getting like directors to come in.
And all those awful Adam Sandler movies.
So that's another whole other podcast,
So that's another podcast. That's great. Yeah. Oh man, those are not good. Those are not good. They paid him a lot of money for that.
They did. I don't know how this guy keeps getting stuff.
Yeah, well, he got out of that Sony contract that he had. They had to make like 1 million movies, and he had like a ton of money.
Why would I don't know who would? I don't even know.
I don't know. It's where comedians go to die.
Pretty much.
Yeah, or where 90s comedians go to die. But yeah, we'll see what comes out of this. I'm still hoping, like you mentioned, there was already a gentleman's accord that was done between Bob Iger and the owner,
Executive
the executive of Fox. The name escapes that British family that owns News Corp, basically.
Yep.
So we'll see. I'm still rooting for Disney, man. I know that it's a corporation. It's big, but at the same time, they really know how to treat their properties. So what better way to keep some of these iconic properties safe? It definitely with Disney. So still hoping for them.
Awesome.
Yep. Joe, Thanos.
Man.
He's a pretty strong guy, right?
Yeah, dude. So this over this last Monday, I want to say it was, Marvel and Fortnite had a team up, and Fortnite basically brought on the character of Thanos. You can get the Infinity Gauntlet and become Thanos in the game, and use the gauntlet and the stones. And Obed, I think the biggest thing about this story is it's a story of a beautiful partnership beautiful collaboration between two companies that understand their own properties, understand how big each other are, and are willing to play nice and work together and help each other's franchises just dominate. And I think the headlines were equal for both of them. It was Fortnite, and Thanos, and Marvel is happy, and I'm sure Fortnite is happy, and I can imagine how ridiculous those servers were. I heard some stories about people trying to get on there. But yeah, I love like how you look at the gameplay for playing Thanos in Fortnite, and like they didn't take it too serious. It's super like chill. He's very overpowered, but that's nothing new in that sense. Like it's just such a he does his own emotes and dances and whatever, and it's like they just had fun with it. And I think a lot of people really got into it. I saw a lot of really great gameplay videos of guys. I know the first person to kill Thanos had to do some ridiculous amount of stuff because if you became Thanos, there was no escaping him. Like he would take you out pretty quick. So he was super super powered, but yeah, and it's a story of a beautiful collaboration, a beautiful partnership, and I'm really cool. It's really cool to see what they did. What do you think, Obed?
Yeah, he got nerfed last night. I heard that they have his health, and they lowered the damage that the Power Stone did. So he got nerfed because he was really over the top
Kind of
OP.
crazy.
Yeah, he was really OP. But yeah, this is talk about timing, man, because this is the biggest movie of the decade with the biggest game that's out there right now, making a collaboration. And this is like talk about perfect cross media collaboration. It's amazing. I'm very very sure that the Fortnite guys, Epic Games, are very happy with this collaboration, and Disney, because of the exposure, is Marvel is very happy with the exposure as well. So this could, to me, what's brilliant about this move, Joel, is that it definitely opens the door for future collaborations.
Exactly.
Like can you imagine next year we get another Marvel collaborations when Avengers 4 comes out. Maybe when Ant-Man comes out, and then you can be big. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
Something cool like that. And it actually opens the door to things that you can do mechanically in the game. You can, because Thanos has a super jump and the way he behaves, maybe they can add jetpacks to the game.
I heard people say that. Yep.
Yeah, they maybe add different new mechanics to the game. That would be definitely beneficial to all of them. So, man, yeah, this is perfect because they can get so much out of it, and it could open the door for so many future things for Fortnite. RIP PUBG, and I'm still saying it. I'm sorry. But
Fortnite is the future.
Yeah, but no, for it's the present, and for sure. And if they keep releasing content, updating, making it more accessible, and putting it out there, I'm sure that this is going to be this Fortnite's going to has a very very long tail. This game just got released a few months ago. This game was in development for like 8 years or something. It's something ridiculous, like 6 years, something like that. It was I think it was like 2012 when it was first shown at like a closed doors E3 thing, So it's been a long time in the making, and I'm happy that Epic Games are making good with this product, putting it out there for free, man. They didn't have to do that. So kudos to them on being able to market this product in a in a phenomenal way, and just adding this sort of things. It's pretty impressive. Disney is usually very cautious with their cross promotion. Like, even again, going back to Marvel versus Capcom, it's even that Capcom relationship has been going on for more than 20 years, right? I mean, the first X-Men Children of the Atom came out in like 94, maybe 95. So they've had a very long relationship for over 20 years. But to see Marvel be confident and say, hey, you want to do a cross promotion thing for our movie, and I'm sure that Epic Games said, of course. I mean, are we gonna say no to this? I mean, come on.
It's a match made in heaven, dude. It's like a perfect. You would think, what, Fortnite and Avengers? These are two things that are hot, and I've heard it said before. Marvel, I mean Disney, they are heat-seeking missiles, man. They recognize there's heat on it. They're on it, so it's awesome.
Definitely, I can't wait to see. Can I do an E3 prediction, Joe?
Go for it, man.
All right. I think we're gonna finally see that Avengers game that Square Enix is been working on for 3 years. That game was unveiled. I think it was late 2015, early 2016. So it's about time. I think that thing is about ready.
See something, a trailer, maybe gameplay. I don't know.
Yeah, because there was only a teaser, like an announcement teaser. So
it didn't show anything.
Yeah, I'm sure that game is almost done, and most likely, I'm confident with the summer 2019 release for that game when the next Avenger hits. And
That'd be brilliant.
it's yeah, and this is Crystal Dynamics. This is the guys behind the first the Tomb Raider reboot and Shadow of the Tomb Rise of the Tomb Raider. Shadow of the Tomb Raider is the one that's coming up in September. But that's done by Eidos Montreal, which they did the Arkham Origins game. So it's those guys doing that game. But I'm hoping to see that game. I'm cautiously optimistic that we'll see it. So we'll see about that. But talking about E3 stuff, Joel, Walmart Canada pressed the wrong button on their computer. Oops. Like the IT guy pressed the wrong button and published what is supposedly a whole bunch of games that are going to be available for pre-order when E3 happens. And I'm just going to touch upon, I really don't like to talk about, this sort of leaks and, quote unquote leaks and rumors. But there's a couple of things that really caught my eye that I want to talk about. One of them actually is not listed that I have here, but I'll go over. Just Cause 4. Just Cause 3 did pretty well. It was free on PS Plus a few months ago. I think it was like January, February. So we'll maybe. I think it's about time. That game came out about 3 years ago. The only problem that game had that I've heard is that it was not really optimized, and performance was kind of choppy. Of course, this was an open world game where you can do some banana stuff, so they can definitely work out with that engine and make it a bit better for the next iteration. I guess Splinter Cell could be making a comeback, Joel. So that's the second time that I've actually heard this rumor, because I've heard that Splinter Cell is apparently going to be an Xbox timed exclusive like Tomb Raider was, but I don't think Ubisoft is up to this sort of games. So I doubt it. One that's really surprising is there's a listing for Dragon Quest 2. I think this is Dragon Quest Builders 2, which is, I believe, already out in Japan. It's slated to come out in the US later this year, but it's listed for both Xbox One and PS4. So the first one was a PS4 and Vita game. I think it came out for PC later, but as far as I know, this is a PS4 exclusive in Japan. This game is not on Xbox. Most of the third-party games don't come out on Xbox in Japan anyway. So interesting to see that. There's a new Lego DC Villains game. That could be interesting. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was to say that one is pretty cool because they went that whole Lego Dimensions, and I know that was a really huge game when that one came out. A lot of kids enjoying it. Interesting that they're using the property, the partnership with DC, and making all villains game. Probably will be a lot of Suicide Squad characters, and I know that they try and reflect the movies but still do their own thing. So that was pretty interesting. The other one I also want to bring up in here is you're going down the list, but Forza, what, dude? They're always putting out these Forza games, man.
Yeah, and what's funny is that the leaks has Forza Horizon 5, and there's no Forza Horizon 4. So
was it even what?
Yeah. So it's supposed to be Forza Horizon 4, which is scheduled already for this year. That's pretty much confirmed out there. So,
and then Assassin's Creed was on that list, dude, and I was like, is this meaning that they're going to be maybe remaster the first Assassin's Creed, because that's possible?
So
but I don't know.
Yeah, I saw that it was I saw another title that said Assassin's Creed Origins, and it had a subtitle after it, so it could either be an expansion for Origins, or it could be like a Game of the Year edition sort of thing. So that could be a possibility. Gears of War 5. Here's one that's really interesting to me because I don't think there's going to be Gears of War anytime soon. I think that there is the potential for a new Halo game that to be announced at E3. That'll be coming out next year. The last Gears of War came out just a year and a half ago. I really doubt that there's going to be a Gears 5 announced at all. Halo, I can definitely see that, but not Gears.
Oh, I don't know. Exclusive.
Oh, yeah. Exclusive.
I remember last one.
Yeah, I remember last one, right? Yeah, we'll talk about that in a few weeks. And Borderlands 3, which I've already heard that was already in progress, and based on the leaks, this game is going to be, of course, multi-platform, but it's going to be like advertised on Xbox. And one that's really interesting, Joel, is Rage 2. Who asked for Rage 2?
I don't even know, dude.
I don't know. So Rage, of course, is done by id Software, now owned by Bethesda, and it was the first game to use that id like really robust id Software engine that they developed that used 4K textures. Even on PS3, the textures were 4K, even though you couldn't display them. And that's why when you get like Bethesda games that use this engine, like of course Rage, the Evil Within games, and Doom, the last Doom that came out, I'm not sure if Wolfenstein runs in the same engine. I believe it does. I'm almost certain that it does. That's why those installs are stupid. They're like 120 gigs or something like that, because they have this all these uncompressed assets that the game engine uses, and it just eats up your hard drive really bad. But that was a big.
It's possible that like we'll see like an announcement for this, and it'll be like so amazing, like, oh my gosh, Rage 2 looks great. But dude, like I don't see this being anything good right now. If you
the first Rage did do well. We both, critically, it wasn't panned, but it was, but it wasn't like super well received, and people bought it because they were itching for an id Software shooter, right? They were itching for Wolfenstein, for Doom, for Quake. I think Rage takes place on the Quake universe, if I'm not wrong, but it's interesting. But one that's really interesting, Joe, that is not on this list, on the immediate list, but on the complete Walmart list, is that Final Fantasy VII Remake is listed for both PS4 and Xbox One. Of course, this was unveiled at the PlayStation conference in 2015, and saying that it will be coming. The wording that Adam Boyce used on that presentation was, "It will be coming first to PlayStation." So it's definitely time exclusive.
Exclusive.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the difference. That's the difference. Adam Boyce never said exclusive.
First
on PlayStation. Right. When Rise of the Tomb Raider was announced as an exclusive, and then you see Phil Spencer going around in circles, not answering the question whether the game's exclusive or not. So, and
then in a matter of time, it's showing up on PS. PS4.
Yeah, it was a year. Like it was exclusive on Xbox for 3 months. It came out on PC in January of the following year. I think the game was released in October. Came out on PC in January after holidays, and it came out in September on PS4. So, whatever. I heard the game's good, so no, I'm not tossing on the game.
No.
I'm just pooping on the marketing.
It's the delivery, right?
Yeah, exactly.
First on PlayStation.
Exactly. But interesting stuff. We'll see if some of this is real or not. I guess we'll find out in a few weeks. Some leaks out there and some crazy stuff. We've already seen some supposed leaks for Microsoft and Nintendo. So we'll see where all this goes. and I still can't wait for that show, man. I'm really pumped for it. I can't wait.
Same, man. You
So
guys got to
excited.
tune in for our live one. You got to do it.
Yeah, remember
Time that Monday night.
June 11th, 8 p.m. I'm gonna plug it in again.
No, seriously, guys.
Yep. Joe, going into the mini System Fever, SNK, which came back from the dead a couple of years ago. The SNK, long story short, they are the makers of the Neo Geo console and, of course, the arcade board. They merged with Playmore in the early 2000s and I believe filed for bankruptcy, if I'm not wrong, 2008, 2009. And they were acquired by, I think, a company for either Taiwan or China. And they refocused, right? They started to do pachinko machines for the Japanese market, mobile games for China. But someone inside that organization had a good idea, which is, hey, how about we give stuff to the hardcore guys that are out there that always supported SNK. So SNK in the last few years had a resurgence. They're coming back really strong into games, putting a lot of stuff of their classic stuff out there on modern consoles. Of course, King of Fighters 14 did really well. And they're coming out with another fighter, with the old girl fighter that's coming out. The name escapes right now. But a lot of people are excited about that if you're into fan service and whatnot. So that's pretty cool. But they are putting out an arcade mini, Joe. It basically looks like a mini arcade, like a bar top arcade. It's really interesting. It's really tiny. From the specs that we've gotten, it's a 3.5-inch screen. The thing's about a foot tall. It does have an arcade joystick, so it does have micro switches, and it has four arcade buttons like the arcade. This thing has in the back an HDMI out, and it has a controller port. The controllers show look really interesting to me because they look like they are basically the same controllers as the Neo Geo CD system had, which was a very interesting controller because the D-pad wasn't exactly a D-pad. It actually had switches inside, so it clicked when you press left and right. The pad actually clicked. It wasn't a digital pad. So pretty interesting stuff. No price yet. I am very interested in this thing because Neo Geo was the unicorn, right? It was the mythical system that was really expensive. No one ever had it. The games were really expensive. The system was $600 when it came out. I remember seeing it in the stores, and RIP Babbage's, because they got bought out by GameStop, of course. But I remember seeing the console in Babbage's, and it was $600. The games were anywhere from $200 to $350. This was like arcade, 100% arcade experience at home. So I'm curious to see what the pricing on this thing is going to be, because I like it. I never own an SNK piece of anything basically other than actual ports of games. Like I do have some of the King of Fighters on King of Fighters 13 on PS3. I do have some other re-releases, Mark of the Wolves on Vita on PS4 and Last Blade 2. But I have never owned like SNK hardware. So I am really excited for this thing. I'm hoping that it's not too expensive because it looks pretty neat too. I mean, you get a mini arcade, man.
I like it, dude. It was like 40 games were preloaded on it, right?
Yeah, 40 games. This is
cool.
it's for the 40th anniversary, so you get a game a year. Basically.
It's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. And like I love that like they have their Japanese one and then their international one. Like that's like you can use in the international North America, into the regions. I love that their market, because stuff like this you'd be like, oh man, maybe it's just gonna be in Japan, or maybe it's just gonna be North America, but letting everyone experience is pretty awesome. Like you said, there's a lot of like nostalgia going on right now with these retro games, and perfect opportunity where the technology exists where you can bring back those games or those platforms, but do it in a way that works with newer technology or is more feasible, right? NES, Super NES, HDMI outputs, these kinds of understandings of like taking us back to some things, but letting it be functional for today, and also introducing it to those that we never experienced this but always heard about it. Now they can actually go out to the store and buy one of these or buy it online, right? So I just think I think this is great all around, dude. It's a great story, and happy to hear another retro gaming platform being made available.
Yeah, and it does come with the best games in the series. It comes with the best King of Fighters. It comes with the Metal Slugs, Samurai Showdown. So you do have a lot of value on this thing. The only thing again would be they need to price it right. If the price is right, this thing's gonna fly off, and it's probably gonna be impossible to get. Depending on the pricing, I will try and get one because it looks really neat. Yeah. I'm still shopping around for like NES clones and whatnot, Super NES clones, but it's just that the one I like is the analogs Super Mini NT or the Mini Super NT, whatever it's called. But it's $200, and I was like, I don't want to spend that money if I'm just gonna be casually using it. That's half a PS4 Pro. I would rather invest in that. That's the way I think about it.
You and I have had this conversation of things that equate to half a PS4 Pro. Or
yeah, exactly. Yeah, we had a conversation this morning about that.
We did.
Oh, that's good. That's good. But yeah, I'm hoping that this thing is accessible. Because I am definitely interested, and I will try to get one. Looks pretty neat, man. So, Joe, finally, Nintendo decided that the Switch needs an online service. This, of course, was delayed. This service was to be released September of last year. It will be releasing September of this year. They're calling it Nintendo Switch Online. So that's going to be the name of the service itself. And it is pretty affordable. It's $20 for the year, $19.99 for 12 months. And if you need a family membership, it's $34.99 a year, and you can have up to 8 profiles on the same device. So pretty interesting stuff that they're doing. I'm not going to go over the monthly and 3 months because it's not worth it.
Well, the biggest thing I'd say is that the price is good, dude. Like it's a good price if you're a family, $40, and then if you're someone who just wants to get for the year, like $12 for the whole year, I think is what it was, or $20 or something like that.
$20, yeah, $19.99.
$20 for the whole year, like. I mean, if I'm by myself, a single dude, or whatever, and I just get paid $20 and I have online service to play Mario Kart online with other people, like heck yeah. I mean, it just makes sense, and it's fair.
Yeah, and of course, this basically games are going to transition, right? When this comes out, games that have online multiplayer will get blocked. You need the service in order for you to continue playing. Now that they announced that the games that are going to suffer of that are going to be Splatoon 2, ARMS, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Mario Tennis Aces, Sushi Striker, and Sushi Striker. So those are the games. Like Street Fighter, Ultra Street Fighter 2 is not going to suffer from it. I'm assuming, Joel, that when this service launches, Smash for Wii U is going to launch.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like has to be like the same day. What's interesting, 2 things about this service, Joe. The big one for me, really, if you own a Switch, you finally get cloud saves. So if your Switch dies, you won't lose your 200. Yeah, you won't lose your 200 hours of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Because I've heard stories about. It was like, hey, 220 hours on Zelda, and they're gone because the Switch died. So now you finally get cloud saves. So your data is going to be your game saves are going to be backed up. They are going to have what they're calling Nintendo Entertainment System, Nintendo Switch Online, which is a very long name. But it's basically at launch. This will have 20 NES games that you will be able to play for free included on the service, and you will be able to play them offline. So if you install those games on the Switch, those games are going to be available for you. In that game list is the original Legend of Zelda, Mario 1, Mario 3, the original Donkey Kong, Ice Climbers. There's 20 really decent games on that list. And I guess the plan, what they announced is that they will be adding more games as time goes. So this would be an expanding service, and hopefully this would expand into like Super Nintendo stuff, because Super Nintendo stuff compared to NES games, Super Nintendo games still hold up, both graphically and sound, and of course gameplay. So Super Nintendo would be like a really big deal if those games become available on the platform. That's going to be a big deal. I saw a bunch of fanboys complaining, but where's the virtual console? The virtual console. Oh, this is your virtual console, right? They're not calling it virtual console anymore. That used to be, a buzzword name, or and now they changed their strategy. So you knew this was coming. Get used to it. Don't be a crybaby.
Fair.
But yeah, Joe. What do you think, man? Is Nintendo doing the right moves? Are they falling a little behind compared to PS Plus?
I mean, yeah, some might say it's late, but I don't think so. Just because if their platform's doing so well, right? You have the Nintendo Switch still selling like ridiculous. People are happy with it. Yeah, I think the problem comes with late adoption. Like that, people are not going to be happy with it when you start having some of these games listed off. They're going to suffer to this, that you're going to be forced to buying this. But if you're forced to buy this thing, and it's looking at the price point of what they have it at, it's fair. I think that's it's a good price. The same way I feel about PS Plus. Like if I pay $60 for the whole year to have this PS Plus, subscription, like I feel like it feels like a steal in some ways, because it's like, think about it. You get the multiplayer access online, and then you get these free games every month. With this situation, I just think that Nintendo, they're strengthening the support for these multiplayers and the online platform, and having these online backups. They're giving you more features, but they're being able to support it. When I say that, it's like everyone wants this stuff, but they want it for free, and they have to understand like it's a lot of work that goes into running these servers and going into maintaining these and maintenance.
Absolutely.
Making sure to have a cost-friendly revenue system that people are willing to put this money into it because they want to play or have access to these features. But then on the flip side, understanding that this helps Nintendo to sustain themselves by offering these new features. It's just a brilliant move all around. And it's something that I think it makes sense. So yeah, it could seem a little late, but I don't think it's that huge of a deal. I think they'll be just fine.
Yeah, and like you said, the Switch has been wildly popular. They've already got a decent lineup for this year. We all know Smash is coming in. What I'm basing is probably going to be sometime in September. So they've made some announcements. We'll see what they announce at E3. They don't have any big things announced yet for this year other than Smash. They really went all out last year, right? That's what they needed to nail. They needed to nail the launch, and they did it. So now they can, have an okay year in 2019, and maybe have a stronger 2018, and then have a stronger 2019 when it comes to putting stuff out on the platform. We've already known that there's already a Pokemon game in the works. Adrian Uma says that he's already working on the next Zelda. I'm assuming Miyamoto is working on the next Mario project with whatever team he's giving the project to. Metroid's coming sometime next year, I think. That's one of my, we'll talk about it more during the E3 show. But yeah, I think they're doing the right thing. I mean, they're giving people what they need right now, which is like, we need to get people cloud saves. We need to give people, the ability to play retro games on our system. And at the same time, like you said, this thing costs money, right? running server farms and data centers and all this stuff costs a lot of money. So I'm sure Nintendo needs the extra push. They're still doing really well with just the Switch sales, but this would definitely help them quite a bit.
It would help them to sustain it, right? They need to sustain
Exactly.
the success.
Yeah, they exactly. That's one of the big issues that the Wii U had is they weren't able to keep the ball rolling. Things were taking too long to make. Uh, Based on rumors that I've heard from development, it was that Nintendo was having a hard time figuring out how to make HD graphics work. I was like, it's been going on for 6 years. What's going on, guys? So there was a few things that went wrong with the Wii U when the Wii U came out, but the Switch is doing great. I still want one. It's just that I have so little time to actually sit down and enjoy games that it's really hard to me to put in $500 on this thing. And I'm saying 500 because buying the Switch plus accessories plus games, would set me back, $500. So just to excuse that amount of money, just to have something that I'm not going to use, I'm going to feel terrible. So that's why I haven't made the jump yet. But we'll see. And yeah, Nintendo's doing great. They're going to do good with this thing. I'm hoping that their service works and they don't have any issues. But Nintendo fans are forgiving, right? They are the most forgiving of all the fan bases out there. So I'm sure they'll do great, and people are going to jump in it once they announce the retro game platform and what all the games included are going to be and whatnot. People are just going to jump in it. So
I agree, man. It's great. Good for Nintendo. Another successful competitor out there in the gaming market, and we love to see these guys do well.
Absolutely. Joel, that's what I got. If you don't have anything else, man, take it away.
Yeah, dude. I mean, right now as we're recording this, right now the Han Solo world premiere is going on, and so I'm really eager to see once this ends what the reactions are going to be, the instant, because they're going to be allowed to do social media instant reaction. I've been very skeptical of this movie, Obed, so I'm sure next week maybe we'll have a little discussion about the early reactions to Han Solo, right? But with that being said, we got so much great stuff here in the low time stuff Obed talked about with E3 coming up, live show on June 11th and predictions before and after. But anyways, guys, we want to thank you so much for making special time out of your day to listen to us here at No Load Time. If you go ahead and stay connected with us by following us on social media at No Load Time. That's at No Load Time on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. If you also are listening to this right now via podcast, you can go ahead and subscribe to us on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud. If you're watching us, you can subscribe to us here on YouTube. That really helps out. Like the video, drop a comment, share it with others. If you're a subscriber on iTunes, go ahead and drop us a review. That really helps us out as well. And then in addition to all this, we also want to have your feedback, right? So as you're connected with us, you're hearing these episodes, we want to hear from you. So go ahead and send an email to noloadtime@gmail.com. It's noloadtime@gmail.com. Questions, feedback, what have you. We look forward and enjoy reading what some of you have to say, especially as we get into some very passionate, very interesting episodes. You don't have to always agree with us. That's the power of the internet. We can hear each other, but we'd love to hear back from you guys. So thank you so much again, and we look forward to our future episodes, having you with us.
Thank you, guys, and we'll see you guys on the next show.